whether you realize it or not, you're actually taking the risk every day, whether or not you're a W-2 or if you're on the other side and you're starting something.
Nothing is guaranteed.
It's all risk, right? So I think people assume that there's a lot of work that has to be done to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur, a lot of work that has to be done. You might find yourself doing just as much or more, placating another individual. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of like doing everything that we do at our W-2 job just to get by, just to fly under the radar, just to not be seen. I feel like that's just as much work as me going out there and giving it everything, finding out who I am and finding out who's looking for me. Wait, can we ask a real question right there? Can anybody be an entrepreneur? Yeah, I was refreshed by that the way that you were. Learning that, one, I'm not alone in my experience is reassuring. Learning that other responsible business owners who've been in it for a long time are doing the same stuff. Like, they have to overcome it too. They have the same struggles and the same challenges. It makes you feel like you can take the next step when you realize I'm not alone. I have nothing to be ashamed about. This is par for the course. This is part of the experience.
I mean, I think the hardest part for all of us, I think all of us suffer this, is to be self-aware.
Yeah, that's
Until
a good word.
we don't see it, we can't do anything about it. And that is sometimes extremely hard. And this types of groups can help with that, because then you realize, okay, wait, maybe I didn't speak, I didn't say a word, but you know what? Now it clicked.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I just recognized it. So once you're self-aware, the beauty of that is that, okay, now it's your choice. What are you going to do about it? Now you can do something about it. If you don't know how, then you can ask for help. Mm-hmm. Then you can raise your hand. Then you can start moving in that direction. So that is a emotional, mental, personal battle that we all have to go through. And then all your demons come out. Mm-hmm. Like, what's it, Alan or Alex?
Alan,
right? Mm-hmm. Feeling that sense that, you have to be the provider. I've been through that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm the one that jumps in and just tries everything. But being able to recognize your circle, mm-hmm. and making them aware and being grateful and being thankful that they're there to support you. They're actually walking with you. And everything you're suffering through, they're suffering with you. And sometimes you don't recognize it, and you don't say that. Mm-hmm. You have to say that. You have mm-hmm. to sit with that person and say, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Mm-hmm. And that is the emotional battle we have to go through. And then you can, after you recognize that, you can quickly shift into the technical aspect of it. Okay? And the reality of running a business. And the reality is, if nobody knows I exist, how am I expected to sell anything? So that is kind of like your first, that should be at the top of the line. How do I make myself out there so people know that I exist?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask both of you that question, because this would be probably the second week in a row that we've sat in a room and the majority of the issues were something that business owners were dealing with on a personal level, but in a macro sense, it boiled down to marketing. Second week in a row that marketing has been really the heaviest issue in the room. What are you guys seeing in regard to that?
Do you want to go first, or?
Well, for me, I think everybody's in a different season. Typically, whether or not, I still call us a startup, and we've been around for 3 years because we stay that dynamic, right? Yeah. And I feel like you have to in business.
Technically, you're a startup under 5 years,
right? So I feel like we're in startup mode all the time. But
and
that's
what are
just
you
me.
after 5 years?
After 5 years, you're a seasoned business.
You're a survivor.
You're a survivor.
You're on the good side of
People
statistics.
Used to say, did you make it to 5?
Yeah.
And I think you're okay.
I think you're going to make it.
Okay.
But I feel like everybody's in different seasons, especially, as a small business when it comes to marketing in particular. But I feel like having that coaching aspect first to tell people, officially, you're diagnosed in this season, by the way. And you probably stand to benefit from X, whatever X is.
Yeah.
I think that's a good starting point because I found people, and I kind of alluded to it in the intro, like some people are just thinking about the competition in business. And you don't even know if your product or service has a market that you can address yet. So maybe you figure that out first and then figure out maybe competition. But there's plenty of other starting points to go with. Yeah. And then some people think they need a solution that they don't really need because they've seen cookie cutter marketing agencies or other people are doing it this way. And I'm like, well, how's that working out for other people? Do you want to be other people or are you looking for something else? So I don't know. That's kind of my broad answer to that.
Well, it's like I spoke with Alan afterwards and I said, I think a lot of us identified with him, just wanted him to feel reassured and asked him to come back. The more you come back, the better. I think you're more comfortable. You'll learn so much more. But that I asked him, okay, it sounds like you know who you want to market to or who your client could be, but I'm going to shoot you a checklist.
Yep.
And I just need you to answer these questions.
So good.
And this might help you figure it out. Then you got to figure out where they are. And I'll send you another list from Mr. Espinoza, who was at our last meeting.
Yeah.
These are places where they could be.
Yeah.
So, then you can realize, like, am I really talking to the right people?
That's right.
Where are they? They may not be on social, so, but maybe an email list is where you go if you already have some people you've worked with in the past that wouldn't be scared to take a leap of faith with you. It's just there's other ways to do this. But you got to figure out you and who you want to serve. And maybe it's they know, but sometimes it's just a little checklist. People work off of lists and it's like, okay, ding, 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 ding. And maybe it'll help focus where I said, well, if you wake up every day and go, now what? Maybe this will help you figure out the now what for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
And I think, but everybody needs that still, I think.
What I keep coming back to is kind of the more interpersonal side of it, and it's the oscillation between the interpersonal side and me figuring out me, and then how that begins to affect what's happening in the business and the direction that I go in the business. So with that, with Alan, what he said was deeply personal. It had everything to do with who he was as a person. Yep. His worth and his value, and then for that to shift him to this place of just hustling to figure it out. Hustle's not necessarily the answer, though.
Correct.
The answer is just go back where you started, figure you out, figure out what's real, what has the strongest, through line of your life, and then what intersects with that line, and you start figuring out who you are. Once you can do that, now you can figure out who's looking for me, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I think Macy does so brilliantly, is helps people to figure out who's looking for you. And I can't remember who the person is that I did not coin this, but this statement or this phrase of I'm looking for people looking for me. That's important. Mm-hmm. That's the whole marketing thing for me. And but you can't look for who's looking for you if you don't know who you are first.
Yep.
It's impossible. And so it's just crazy to me that for business owners, I actually got to deal with your personal, real, weighty stuff. And until we do, we may never figure out who's really looking for you.
You got it.
So that was wild to me.
Yeah. And during that self-discovery, you might recognize that, I'm not an entrepreneur. I need to go work for somebody else. And that's okay too.
Can we ask a real question right there?
Uh-huh.
Can anybody be an entrepreneur?
No.
Yeah, I say no. I say no.
You said it, I think you said it earlier, where people can react and deal with change. Some people can't.
Yeah.
And so I think that they're the people that Steph would need, who can keep them on task and get all those little things that need to be on a list done.
That compliments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are people that way, and then others can just react and pivot. As that's, I think, more successful entrepreneurs are people who can do that.
Could you be trained? Absolutely, just as leadership. Anybody can be a leader.
Anybody can be a leader
if you're trained and practice. It's a skill that you have to develop. So
I agree. Leadership's in everybody.
Entrepreneurship is more of you technically could, I guess, but it's in your vein whether you're scared or not. It all comes to that.
Do you have guts?
Because you have guts to just jump in and say, "Well, I don't know if I can swim or not. I'm jumping in and see what happens."
I don't know if I can swim. We going in.
We're going in.
That's my son.
I need a little
He's in
liquid courage.
Aquatox now, so he's come a long way. But man, when he started, I'm gonna figure it out.
That's probably
And
my
to
son.
the bottom.
To me, that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur. You cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid.
Yeah.
But even if you're afraid, just jump in.
Just go.
Yeah, just go.
Just go. So the answer right now, no.
I say no.
I think you can get some experience in getting reps in getting behind this curtain or this perception of stability. Because I think there's a perception, and I say it that way, of stability in your W-2 and your corporate or whatever until you get bought out and there's like a merger and like your name's on the chopping block and you realize,
That's right.
well, there's actually no control.
That's right.
But I think until you get some reps in and experience, you probably have that perception of stability, and it's probably easy to say, no, I just can't be an entrepreneur. But I think there's plenty of stories for business owners where they started out with that umbrella of safety, and they realized, oh, it's actually not waterproof, and then that's what starts them on that journey. But it might be one of those where they are born with and they just don't know it. you know? So
Could be.
that's a non-answer, by the way.
A little bit it was. I wasn't going to
it's
say
true.
anything. So it was like a no.
But
I think yours technically is a
Maybe.
okay. It's a maybe. Yours is kind of a maybe. I'm not going to lie to you. Mine's a little bit of a maybe too. Because here's how I see it. The real answer, I would agree with Maisie. No, everybody can't do it. I didn't realize that I agreed with Maisie until after she said why. And I thought, no, it's true. You either are willing to take a risk or you're not. That's the simplicity of whether or not a person can do it. Are you that person who can deal with taking the risk? And what you said is also true. Whether you realize it or not, you're actually taking the risk every day, whether or not you're a W-2 or if you're on the other side and you're starting something.
Nothing is guaranteed.
It's all risk, right? So I think people assume that there's a lot of work that has to be done to be a business owner, to be an entrepreneur. A lot of work that has to be done. Comparing it to the work that you do being a W-2, I don't know if that's a fair comparison. You know what I mean? Like, you might find yourself doing just as much or more, placating another individual. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of like doing everything that we do at our W-2 job just to get by, just to fly under the radar, just to not be seen. I feel like that's just as much work as me going out there and giving it everything, finding out who I am and finding out who's looking for me. It's all work to me.
I think it boils down to, do you want to front load that work, or do you want to divvy out 40 hours a week for, until you're in your 60s and then you're in retirement or whatever that looks like traditionally to you. But if you front load that work and if you execute it right and if you have the right systems, processes, people's relationship, if you have all of that lined up, there's no ceiling potentially. And I don't mean that just in a monetary sense. I mean that in terms of your freedom, in terms of whatever you're building for yourself and your community.
I think that's the thing. That's it right there. Because the next question was going to be, if it's all work, then what's the difference? Like, what are we really aiming for?
I'll give you the cliche answer.
What is it?
Do you want to make somebody else rich, or do you want to put in the hours for yourself and make yourself rich?
I think that is it. Do you want to bet on yourself?
You can work the same amount, the same effort, but you want to do it so somebody else can take the benefits?
Yeah.
Or you are willing to do it for you?
I know that you're going to be an entrepreneur if you were one of the bad kids in school.
Thank God for my son.
Like, because you ultimately are saying that. You're like, I'm gonna dictate my future here. I'm gonna be the captain.
And by the way,
I'm gonna be the captain of this ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, this isn't easy.
No.
It's not easy by any means. Whoever says it's easy is lying. Because even the most successful entrepreneurs now can tell you a horror story. and how they came to that. And
Plural.
I think just about everybody.
Plural.
And
Horror
whoever,
stories.
Yeah. And whoever's not is because they were probably born into privilege. They haven't had to do anything, right? They just inherited something and just kind of had to maintain it.
Listen,
And, you
yeah.
know, that happens too. It's real, right?
Yeah.
But most of the of entrepreneurs, you have to go through dirt and battles and dark times and then go back again. And then because a simple mistake, a simple decision that you thought it was good at that point, it didn't work out. So now you kind of go back to square one. You're like, okay, now I have to redo this again, right? So
I'm just glad that somebody could see me when I was a sophomore and junior in high school. It was a lot of work to disrupt those classes, I can promise you.
yeah,
Took a lot. Took a lot to steal the attention. So business, one of the things that I wrote down when we were in that discussion today was I wrote the word servant leading, or the term servant leading. For whatever reason, something we said in there just really made me stick to that. I know I spoke on it just a little bit, but that's really kind of what it is, what we're doing. You know, yeah, do you get paid for what you provide? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I think the level or the degree of servant leading that you're doing is what will dictate the success of your business. It may not help the timing of it, but it will absolutely dictate whether or not it is or is not successful. Are you helping or are you not helping?
it may be your own peace of mind. Maybe you won't get rich, but you'd be content. You'd be happy. Because you're getting that return. You're getting that reward.
Yeah.
So in your mind, you're already rich.
Yeah.
Because you're doing that. You're serving somebody else. That brings you a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
I think to me is the way I look at it is the money is an effect. It's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
If I concentrate on serving, if I concentrate on changing somebody's life and teaching and helping the human, to me that's the greatest satisfaction. The money is the reward. The money is the bonus that I get to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Michael's answer to Holly's, fear of rejection was that aspect of, and he brought, God into the mix, and he said, that's, him putting that in front of you is allowing you the opportunity to solve someone's problem. It's allowing you to teach and give back. And if you're not doing that, you're just not owning your responsibility.
Yep.
In a sense,
You're going through the motions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know whenever I go to church or when I pray at home, it's always been this for years, even when I wasn't working on my own business. But it was, God, I am doing what I need to do because I'm helping others put food on the table. And they are in turn helping me put food on the table and a roof over my head. So please help me do the best that I can. And I still do that now, but now I'm doing it for myself. And it's please let me do my best. Because it is hard, squirrel.
Yeah.
You don't focus, and then it's like, I need to be productive today. I need to do the best that I can for others. Because if I help them, they're helping others. They have employees. They have their family.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the big main cog in this, but they trusted me. And I've got to serve them.
Yeah. You feel that deeply.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I found in time, the people that I work with or work for they're on that same level. And naturally, you will lose the clients that maybe don't see eye to eye. That's not a fit.
Not a good fit.
Money, or they look at things differently. And I'm going, I just want to make sure you and your family, and your employees are taken care of. It'll happen. And that's the way I believe.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
Like that. This every morning is I wake up and one of the first things I say is I choose to be happy today, no matter what, no matter what circumstances, and just God help me, put me in the right spots, put the right people in front of me so that I can help or they can help me,
Yep.
and then just kind of go on to the day, right? So it kind of works out for me because I end up going to bed really happy, regardless of what happened.
Maybe that's part of, sorry.
No, please.
Maybe that's part of entrepreneurship. because it is still being able to roll with the changes, roll with the way, and then going to bed happy, waking up happy. You know, if that's hard to accept and you go to bed with a lot of weight on your mind, you wake up still feeling maybe that isn't, being an entrepreneur is not for you because of that. If you're forming an ulcer.
Waking up at 2 a.m.
Yes.
last night. No, I'm just kidding.
Anxiety and
Yeah. You know, it's going to be heavy at times, but if you can still wake up and go, okay, let's do this.
Yep, that one hits deeply for me as well. And every time it comes up, I am amazed. That's the biggest part for me, is just being in the space, is recognizing how much of it connects to things that I never thought business was about at all. I didn't look at business early on as a glorified relationship. It's what it is. We will invest so much time and money into the relationships that are meaningful to us. And who we do business with is absolutely, it's no different. You know what I mean? Like, it really is no different. So I always am surprised at how, if a person like myself starts at the simple things, the things that I know that I've been given some level of skill, talent, ability in, I can see how it makes its way to this like thing that's of the utmost importance for a business owner. So yeah, like being a leader in that way and serving, seeing a need, having the willingness to invest your time, attention, your blood, your sweat, and your tears into solving that problem and then serving that community, whoever they may be, is cool. Anyway, what else did y'all see in there today? What else did you hear in there today?
I like the setting of the group, because every time I come, it's very vulnerable. And then once they open up, it's almost like, I mean, if you ask somebody that in a different circumstance, and you just tell them, hey, you need therapy, you need to go, that will really help you. And they will never do it. But they come to a place like this where they don't know anybody, and they're willing to just kind of pour it all out.
Yeah.
I find that amazing.
Yeah.
And so helpful for all of us. Because whether
100%.
you feel you're there now, at some point you probably experience that.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're going to experience that. And just knowing that, you know what, this is, I thought it was just me, right? But it's not. I think that's probably the highest value that this group brings.
Yeah.
So if we can kind of go to the next level and say, let that vulnerability show up. And then now what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Who can help you specifically in this season where you're going through? Can we give you some pointers? Can we give you some actionable steps that you can take? I was, as we were talking here, I'm thinking somebody like Alan, I think he's a perfect candidate that if all four of us can take him into a 2-3 hour coaching session, we can give him some amazing information and guidance and steps and plans that he can walk out of the room and say, all right, now I know what to do. Now I have a plan. Now I know, you know what I mean?
I like that.
And I think we should offer it to him if you guys are willing.
What's really interesting is it was going to be, that's definitely one of my next questions for sure. I do want to hear, like, what did you guys see in the room that was unique to, unique to each of you in the experience?
I mean, I spoke on it in there, but I resonated a lot with, Alan's, season he's going through. Mine was very deliberate in getting to that point, and arguably in a position of strength to be able to make a leap. But that pressure is the same, where you leave that perception of stability towards something that's super risky, and then having that weight of feeling like, you're the provider in the household. And now you've got to figure out how this other person who's my partner of a different mindset, how you kind of marry the two in that journey. So that one resonated with me, that guilt of entrepreneurship. But there's a solution for that problem. Did you write that same thing?
I did.
Guilt of entrepreneurship.
The guilt of entrepreneurship.
And you didn't even use that word. Maybe it's an ADHD thing, but
I don't know.
We
I
read
think
that.
I know,
That's
but
a title of a new book.
it is right. Like,
There's some
That's it.
truth in that. There's a guilt when somebody allows you, your partner allows you that space to make that leap,
Yep.
or life allows you that opportunity to make that leap,
yep.
and you don't necessarily have the proof. He said proof in the pudding, like it's not there yet. Maybe you don't have those wins under your belt to be able to say, let's go on a family vacation, or look, I just solved their problem. Like my first W-2 is in France doing exactly what she wanted to do. And when she told me, hey, this is what I want to do long term, it's like, let's get you there. But that's a feeling as an entrepreneur, like, yes, we got her there.
Yeah.
You know? Same thing with a client.
That's
when you get a
huge.
client win, you know, and you're like, yes, thank you. But being able to impart that same success to your partner and allow them into that journey and allow them to have that feeling, that's the solution to that guilt of entrepreneurship.
The guilt of entrepreneurship was it was like a cannon blast when I heard the term in the room. I was like, I have to write that down immediately. It's just so true. It resonates really deeply in a way that you start going back. You go back through the files in your own mind, and you think about the people who sacrificed for you to bet on yourself. They might not have even been willing to bet on themselves.
And us as guys, I don't know if it's the same for you, but we hide that.
All the time.
We hide that. We don't lean into our partner. We kind of hide it. We kind of put the strong face. We kind of, or ignore it or avoid the conversation when we need to lean into it.
And that's
Because
what I was
they're
telling
making
Alan.
the sacrifice, right? So,
Being vulnerable, being open with your partner and saying, hey, this is what I'm going through right now, to an extent. If they have that anxiety and they can't deal with it because they're not an
totally hear
entrepreneur,
you.
like
I hear
you gatekeep a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But allowing them into that world is something, you're right. I think maybe it is a guy thing. It's very easy to just put up a wall and just say, I got to deal with this alone.
Yeah.
I got
Right.
it.
Right.
Women go through it. I think if you're a mother, especially, depending on the season,
my
because
gosh.
I think younger women at times, and I'm guilty of that back in the day, when the hustle culture was so big and you had to prove it. I'm fine. But inside you're just cringing and dying and crying. And so women do that too, depending on their who they have in their circle, or who now with social media, who they're looking at as who's attaining their goals. Who are they measuring themselves up to? The competition or a hero or an idol. And then moms too, you take care of everything and you don't want to tell anybody that inside you're like freaking out.
Yeah.
I got it. Everything's fine. Plus, you know what? You ran out of clean clothes. You need a white shirt today. It's like, fine, I will throw that in the laundry, stay up a little bit later, and bang away on my laptop. And there are different things. And there's pride, or there's this thing that you just don't want to tell everybody that you also need help.
Yeah.
Yep. Or that you're scared.
Yeah.
Or that you're scared.
That's the other one.
And then, that's very true. You have to know your audience, right? So you know your partner, you know their style, you know how they think, so kind of adjust to that when you're bringing them into the conversation. But I give you an example. My wife is very methodical. She
Yeah.
likes a plan. She likes to kind of be in control, right? And so I have to make sure that when I speak to her, there's a plan. She sees that I'm thinking about all of this, that I have a plan that I'm following. There's a strategy behind all of this. And that's what I was trying to convey to Alan, is bring her into the conversation. Let her know that you got this, that this is the stuff you're doing. But I think that's what he needs. He doesn't know exactly where to go. He
It's
doesn't
an
have that
invitation.
yet.
The invitation, it's an invitation to leadership, really, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Correct.
That's really good.
But if we do work with him, then he'll confidently be able to show his wife, this is what the plan is.
Correct.
If she gets nervous and doesn't say anything, she's bottling it up too.
Yeah.
Him showing her a plan, a roadmap, anything
Yeah.
can also ease that
Absolutely.
for herself.
Yes. I can almost guarantee that will happen. Yeah.
That's one of the questions that I know we want to ask at times is like, hey, what do you see long term for your business? And people can talk to you about what it is, but then we get to that place of, okay, but what does that mean for you personally? Like, what does that mean for your wife and how she's feeling? What does that mean for your family and what they're going to be able to see and all these other things? It's, you know, it's the more intrinsic things. So I like it, inviting her into that space of leadership that you have to sit there and absolutely wrestle with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think being invited to that space means a lot for people who need to know that there's a plan.
Yeah.
So are we all married to people who are more planners and
Yeah, probably.
I think so.
I think my husband's the same way.
Yeah.
He's always like, what is your long-term goal?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
It's so
A long-term
okay.
goal.
All right.
You mean by the end of the day?
Man,
That's my long-term goal.
I'm trying to
I
get
feel
through this
so
week.
seen.
Yeah.
I
Did you
feel
see my
so
planner?
seen today, Matt. Okay, so what did you see in the room today?
I just like the vibe. It was different. And I think because there's some regulars and then maybe they're also feeling comfortable in helping others and speaking up. And Alan, I think, just set the tone. He went for it. He was vulnerable fast. And I think that helped other people. And then having Steph
I think
bring
he
it up.
needed that. Didn't you
I think
feel that?
so.
He's the best.
That's why I invited him. I was like, please come back every first and third. You know,
Yeah.
this is your little group.
That's awesome.
This is your circle where you can feel like you can talk to others and you're not alone. And Steph saying the same thing. And I think most of us were like, we're the same way. You know, it's just a different vibe today on once he kicked it off
Yeah.
with that honesty.
I think that him doing that and everybody being able to raise their hand around the circle is really cool. And at the same time, I think, okay, now, you know, you can get some solutions here. We can help solve some problems here.
Yep.
And so, you know, there's that question. But before I get to that question, I do feel like something else we have to address in the room is this concept. Business owners being some of the loneliest people, period. I think that's why the vulnerability hits the way it does in the room. I think that's why the community maybe seeing some of the growth or sustaining, you know, the attendance or whatever it is, it's seeing what it's seeing, I think, because of this reality that business owners are in fact lonely. What's funny is that I don't know if marketing to the loneliness of business owners is necessarily the way to go, but I still think, what is this phenomena? What is it, like, why have we already addressed why they feel so alone, or what reasons exist that contribute to this loneliness? Are those questions that we've already been answering?
I think to a point, but I think the main reason is fear of failure. That's it. I don't think there's any other reason. Fear of disappointing, fear of failing, not only to yourself, but to your closest circle. Wife, kids, especially wife, kids.
Employees.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Employees.
Clients. Yeah. All of it.
So I think it's just fear. So you have to put on this facade that you're like, oh yeah, I got this. And sometimes we have to, because we don't want to show our clients that we're, hey,
Freaking out.
yeah, 'cause- yeah,
It's like, yeah, of course I've got this.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. So, but I believe that's what it is. It's just that horrifying fear of failing.
Yeah.
Not only failing to yourself, but failing to your loved ones. That's what makes you lonely, because you don't have anybody else to talk to and to, because I can't be vulnerable. They need to see the strong guy or strong woman that is in charge, right?
They need to know I have the answers.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I don't know, just hearing that, it triggered me where someone asked me, well, don't you want to have your own agency? You know, and it's that fear of failure. If it doesn't work out, or God forbid something happens, I've got employees that I would have to think about. And I just, that fear of failure, it's just like, I don't know if I could stomach it. That weighs heavy when I, you know, maybe working with contract workers or working with, that helps me feel better, because they can still take care of themselves. Yeah. And that's it. Just hearing you say that made me go, you know what, that is why I don't want to take on employees because I'm so scared that I'm going to let them down. You know,
And I can remember not too long ago with my W-2 job, getting paid, having to go straight to the ATM, withdraw cash, and like thinking, okay, I don't want to tap into my personal savings, but damn, I'm going to have to move some money here to this account to make sure they get paid on time. How are we going to do this? And that's a very real and vulnerable thing that most entrepreneurs, business owners will not admit, and especially not to their employees, right?
no.
But like there's a loneliness in that, in those vulnerable moments of like, how am I going to get through this? But the reality is you figure out a way. But yeah, I think that's a part of it too. But a lot of it is just that fear and not wanting to showcase that you're afraid in that journey.
We need business owners to know that there is both the need for them to get some kind of reinforcement, like a reinforcement of hope, if you will, right? Something that they can confidently have an expectation for. They should be able to confidently expect there is a place they can go that lets them know they're not alone, right? That says you can actually be vulnerable here, and the vulnerability will not get you scorn. It will not get you mistrust. It will return back to you the help that you're looking for. I think that's why our room on Wednesdays is in any way productive, because we're literally all there because we see great people, right? We see ways and opportunities to not solve the problem, but point them in the right direction and say, "Oh, I think I understand what you're looking for. It's that way," right? And that's helpful. But that did stand out to me today. Is that, man? I think a lot of these folks in this room are pretty lonely, like, and they don't really know what else to do. They're willing to do anything, but they took a huge step by just coming to an event.
Yep.
I think that's pretty amazing. So, what do we do now? We've got this. Now we've got the responsibility. The weight is on our shoulders because we're sitting here, tag teaming this. What do you think the best way is that we help the whole room today versus how we help a few of the individuals? You hit on it earlier.
Yeah, I think if we address in the entire group, I think we do that there. While we're all discussing, I think everybody gets some really good insights and their wheels start turning.
But that's true.
But I think we have to pick and choose who we believe needs the most help. We can actually single them out and say, okay, here's some, and that could be in an email. That doesn't have to be face to face. That could be like Holly. We can send her some sort of strategy that says, look, this is the stuff that we recommend you do. Work on this. Work on your message. Work on your delivery. It's perfectly okay to use all of your emotion. You actually need that quite a bit, right?
I would agree.
So stuff like that is more deliberately, more intentional, and to give an actual tip.
Yep.
Especially to the ones that are, you can hear it in their pain. They need it. They need something. So whether they use it or not, it's not up to us, right?
Yeah.
But if we can provide that, I think that's probably the next step for us.
Yeah.
And I really like the idea of coaching somebody. Let's give them an hour of our time. I think we can do a lot for them, or at least get them in the right direction with some actionable steps.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
I'm willing to do it if you guys are.
Yeah.
So.
What do you guys think?
I'm for it. If we were talking about Alan, he even asked when I said, I will email you the checklist, things that you can ask yourself as you pull your persona together. He said, well, can we meet? And so maybe he's already looking for guidance.
Yeah.
And I might as well just say, well, we would all like to meet with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
We would, but here's the thing, like, if I'm being honest, one of the things that I feel like, just go back to what we said earlier, like, who are you, right? And I know who I am and who we are just in our organization, which is what I also think is really beautiful. The four of us are from four separate places, but there's something beautiful that happens when you get a diverse group who can come together to get a thing done, right? Mm-hmm. And when we see a person like Alan, I defer. I immediately begin to defer to the two of you as marketers because you're both in a space that he's screaming, to the rooftop, man, how do I let people know who I am, where I am, and how to find me? Well, creating that awareness is multifaceted, and you handle a good portion of that, and you handle another portion of that. And so, even though, yes, we could tag team him, I think initially what you might be able to impart can really be almost a filter for how and where he ends up next, because him determining that profile in a way that is like, it's like very tactically. I just think that's the next space for him. It just seems like that's what it feels like in the room, but I guess we won't know. But he is definitely an individual. I want to make sure that I think being in the room for people is good, but I am curious, like, more ways to help. I like what you want to do, and I'm willing to do that. Yes. Are there other ways that you guys would think of that? Hey, for the room, this is something we can do post moment.
I mean, I like, well, with what you said, Carlos, with solving the biggest pain point in the room might be one aspect, but also some of the addressable parallel pain points that would impact others. So most impact versus deepest impact for one would be the other. So if it was something where we've seen after multiple of these some of the same pain points in marketing, and we immediately on the inside we're like, oh yeah, we've seen that. So as some of those things happen more commonly, I think post it would look like here's some actionable common steps that solve these problems in this particular facet. And that can look like a number of different things, whether or not it's an email or content, anything like that. So,
and I think that's it. I mean, because number one, everyone is here to get more clients. But it's that simple, right? We all are.
Oh, yeah.
One way or another, right?
Absolutely.
We're finding other things, other valuable things in here. But the whole idea when you get first invited is, I want to get more clients.
That's right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be through connections, whether it be through referrals, but in my goal in mind is I'm going to get more clients, right? So we're all coming into that mindset. And then once you start talking and realizing they're like, well, I'm not doing the right things to get more clients, right? So now and at the end of the day, I don't think it's very different for everyone. I think it's very similar roadmap for every single business. Is how do people know that I exist?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
How can I tell the most amount of people that I exist and what I solve? That's two is once I realize that, right, who's my ideal client? So I don't just tell everybody, right? I tell the right people. That's number two.
Yep.
Three is, well, what avenues am I willing to do or use because I know or I can tap into it or I can afford to say, well, you have social media, you have paid marketing, and you have printed marketing, and you have that's all those special features that you can provide, which one will work for me, right? So I feel, and in my experience as a business coach for many years, that was like the number one problem for every business owner, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Even when I started my own business, I never even put a line in my plan that said marketing.
Yeah.
I never did.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was an operations guy. I had an engineer mind. So marketing was always non-existent until I had to do it on my own. I said, holy crap, well, how are people know that I exist? How do people know that?
That's right.
So you have to find those stats. And I think that's what most of these people are missing. Is that guide. So you're not giving away a lot, but you are giving away that specific, very valuable guy that says you have to look at this.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or not, if you are willing to be an entrepreneur and run a business, you want your business to be successful, you have to do this. You have to look at this. And if you're not the person, you need to hire somebody. You need to budget for that. And until you get to that point, don't expect any results anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's sort of Kai checklist. It says, regardless of what stage in your business are, you want more clients, this is everything you have to look at. Now, somebody in business that's been a while is going to check some of the boxes and say, "Whoa, I'm already doing this. I'm already doing this, but I'm not growing. I'm stagnant." All right, check the rest of the ideas. You'll see that if you tap into this other avenues, that will start to change. They just don't know. So I think providing that serves two purposes, right? One is you guide them, you give them some actual help, guidance, do this, look at this, or talk to somebody that can help you with this, right? That could be you two guys. But especially if they're already making money, I guarantee you they don't want to do it. Unless they have a marketing degree or worked in marketing, nobody wants to do it. They want to hire the expert.
Which is strange because I think the world is changing.
It is.
It's becoming a place where I almost don't even really want to do business with you if I can't find you. Like if I can't interact with you digitally.
Which is personal branding. So
It's
personal branding has
exactly right.
become huge in today's world, and nobody pays attention to it. Everybody,
In a
I want to be
way-
behind the scenes. Like,
You can't do it anymore. You can't do behind the scenes anymore. Like you can't. And here's what's crazy is that I go back to that element of my past, being that kid that, man, I was the king of stealing attention in the classroom. Trust me. And today, who would have known that what I did then would be the thing that you should be doing today is steal the attention. Like you need to actually have some personal brand and begin to steal the attention, but you're doing it responsibly. You're doing it with and in regard to the things that matter deeply to you, a customer segment that you very much see has a need and you know you can solve it. You've got to figure out how to get attention on you. And that personal brand helps you to do that so that as people are looking for your business, they see it and say, oh, I like that person's style. Let me see more. I want to see more about what they're about. You know, I've got a friend who does that really, really well. He's really good at it. But yeah, the world has changed in that sense. But I kind of feel like for Maisie, sharing something like a checklist is definitely helpful. But I think that's helpful on that individual level. Sometimes I feel like the more macro element would be having a second version maybe of a checklist like that, but it's just like much bigger picture and kind of dealing in, 3 or 4 really big concepts.
yeah, like a 5,000 view, 5,000.
And as you speak to it, it's just like you're talking to a friend, right? And that's kind of what I think we can share, and we can combine really our efforts here. I think throwing out an email just within less than 24 hours from the end of what we just did, and then saying, "Hey guys, thank you for coming. Here's what we learned," right? And then here's what we feel like is totally for the room. Everybody's in this kind of area, generally speaking. Here's some really good things to know. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. And I think that provides value to those people.
Absolutely.
As well as letting them know, oh, and by the way, if you need any more help, here's where you can find any one of the 4 of us. Because this is what we do. We point people in the right direction, and who knows, one of these 4 directions is probably going to be the right direction for you. I think those kinds of things let people say, that was actually pretty valuable. Like, I enjoyed my time while I was there. I got free coffee, right? And I at least have some idea of a next step in this crazy world that is completely changed from a marketing perspective, where I'm bombarded with things every day that almost make me doubt my own gifts, my own strengths and abilities, and I mean, feeling the weight of all of this on my shoulders. Yeah, I needed to step in the right direction. I feel like it'll be helpful. Like now I'm pumped to go do it.